Chaverim, we are in Likoutey Moharan, Tinyana. We're still not Yud. Today is really worth it to follow the next few days. We're going to see something which is can really life-changing, take a lot of pressure off you, take away a lot of problems, and really not so hard. What we're speaking about now is that the tzaddik is involved in giving dat to his talmidim, to the world. The tzaddik wants to do a service to you, to save you from problems. Problems are averot. The tzaddik does this by giving yirat shamayim to his talmidim. Yirat shamayim is done through two things. The ones that are close, he pushes them far. The ones that are far, he brings them close. In order to keep a person moving and to help him, keeping him in check, and to make sure he has fear of heaven and awe of heaven, so it depends what type of person it is, and actually in the same person, depends on what stage he is, where he's holding. If it's a person that's really moving well, we tell him, hey, you didn't start yet. You're so great, you finished everything. Ma chamita, ma pishpashta. What do you, compared to the greatness of Hashem, do you know something? And if a person is down on his luck and he's falling and he's about to give up, we tell him, what, are you crazy? You're the pearl of Hashem's eyes. You, the smallest mitzvah you do, changes everything. And by the way, they're both true. It's not that they're not true. They're both true at the same time. Every small thing you do tips the scales of the world in the favor of the merit. And as much as you've done, you have not done anything for Hashem. They're both absolutely true. But just what do you need to hear when? The tzaddik, when he deals with his people, that's what he gives to them. That gives everybody yirat shamayim. That's what Rabbeinu said. Why is it yirat shamayim? Because if we're always telling you, you're amazing, you're great, you're close, you feel buddies with the king. You're not a buddy with the king. Come on. Relax a little. And if we always tell you, you're far, you're far, you're far, so you feel like you have no relationship with the king. So we tell you once in a while you're close. Yes, God? That's what we're up to. That's what we said. And all this said, Rabbeinu, when you have this type of Rebbe and you're living this type of derech, not yud, in the time of eating, what we said, is mitgaleh, what's called ha'arat haratzon. In the time of eating, you start to get an influx from that moment of a high level, which this high level is what you'll be privy to and access to after 120 years. Everything you do in this world, because you have free choice, after 120 years, you're going to be such an exalted high level that the angels won't be able to come close to you. To the point where the angels are going to ask you, Ma pan ken? What did Hashem do? The tzaddikim will be closer than the angels to Hashem. That's called Ma, and that's a tremendously close place to God, Makif. In the time of eating, you start to feel that. It sort of comes into you. And that Ma is also the yirat shamayim. Meaning, you get this hasaga of ma, which is ma pal ken, of this proximity, this yearning, this desire, this longing, which is accompanied with yirat shamayim. That's what Rabbi Natan says. You get it in the moment of eating. Why in the moment of eating? Because we know that the moment of eating is inyan of parnasa, and parnasa is from the sfira of malchut. Hashem interacts with the world through many lenses. They're called sfirot. Each thing you see in the world is through a certain lens. And the lens and the inyan of parnasa, eating food, money, is in the sfira of malchut, which we proved a few times from different psukim Rabbi brought. The pasuk also says, which Rabbi Natan brings in Likoutey Arachot, it says, In maneh mora'ah shel malchut, ish retreu chaim belau. You know what the Mishnah says? If it wouldn't be fear of the government, people would eat each other alive. If there wouldn't be police, and by the way, we saw the times in history where there was no police, there was no government. The government didn't care about protecting the Jew or whatever it was. And the Cossacks killed millions of people with axes in their backyard in Ukraine, burying people left and right, whole communities, because there was no fear of government. Without the fear of incarceration, or police, or punishments, or courts, and judgments, all that, ish et rayo chaim belau. What do we see from the Mishnah? In ma'eh mora'ah shel malchut. If it wouldn't be from the fear of malchut. So Rabbeinu says that the inyan of yira is also coming from malchut. The sfira of malchut is what puts yira into a person. And you can understand this in a simple way. When you see a king, you start to be scared a little bit. Especially a king, not like a government where the president has no power and we can put the president in jail and we can impeach the president and we can put the president in courts all day. That's not what we're talking about. That president doesn't have so much power. But a king, go to Morocco, go to the old countries, go to a place where the king had full authority, off with the head, the king does it, you're going to be scared of the king. What do we see from here? Yira and Malchut is the same place. So Yira, when you have the Sfira of Malchut, which is the eating, you get the Yira. So far so good. All this, Rabbi Natan brought me to Torah Ayin Zayin. Look in Likoutey Moharan Ayin Zayin. Tinyana. Please open it. Da. So we're now in Torah Zayin. Go to Torah Ayin Zayin. Da. שכל אחד מישראל, אפילו צדיק גדול, צריך שיהיה לו איזה צער בכל יום. You have it, Eitan? So on the top the page, in the middle, you see different, you see I don't see, in the top middle of the page, what do you see? Top, middle, top. No, top, the numbers.
The page number.
The page number here in the middle. What do you see there?
Okay.
What do you see there? So look in Ayin. Look at Ayin Zayin, Tinyana. So Likoutey Moharan is split in two parts. There's the first Chelek, and the second part is Tinyana. It means in Aramaic second part. Says Rabbeinu Da, שכל אחד מישראל, אפילו צדיק גדול, צריך שיהיה לו איזה צער בכל יום. Every person has every day tzar, pain. Every person, even tzaddik. וגם, מי שדעתו יותר גדולה, צערו גדול ביותר. And the more you have dat, the more you have tzar. Yosif dat, Yosif machov. Pasuk says in Kohelet, more knowledge, more dat, more pain. והמתקה היא עד ידי אכילה בקדושה ביראת שמיים. You want to diminish the pain that you have every day, the pain you have from your tenants, the pain you have in your body, the tsar that you have from employees, the tsar you have from your children, the tsar you have from the news, all the tsar that could be, 1,000,001 tsar that you could have. How do you diminish that? Achila b'kedusha bi'irat shamayim. Hainu, shal yedei achila b'kedusha, al yedei zeh nasa amtaka. Through the eating in holiness, you're mamtik. You have a bitter coffee, you put some milk and sugar in the coffee, you take away the bitterness. It's the same coffee, but you're drinking it with a geshmak, with a good flavor, with a sweetness, with a pleasure. How do you turn the tsar, make it matok, to achila b'kedusha? Shelo yitgaber atzar biyoter. So that the tsar should not be overwhelming. חס ושלום. וגם שלא יהיה נשתלשל מן הצער חס ושלום, השתלשות של סדרה אחרא אל סדרה אחרא, שדין קשה חס ושלום. In the shorish of everything, there's what's called the tsar, which is necessary. If you're mamtik it stays as it is in a certain way, which we're going to see, which is the yirat shamayim and the fear you have in the time of your eating. However, if you don't fix it, it goes down. And it takes shape and form in something else, which could be a bigger tzar, and chas v'shalom, a din kasher. All difficulties in the world are coming from a holy place. So if you didn't use the tzar in the right way to help you, to make you grow, the tzar is going to come in a mundane, low, chulindik way, and that could be a din kasher, difficulty, a real tzar, a real problem. And that's when the shtasharut is going from the sitra achad. The other side got it. There's no evil in the world. Everything is good. But when it gets to the other side, you don't see Hashem in it, and it's not beneficial, doesn't bring you close, it brings you far. Food is holy. Does it bring you close or bring you far? It depends. For one person, the food can bring you close to God. The other person can bring you far. When it's caught in the sitra achad, the other side, means it's just pushing you away from Hashem through the same item. ועל ידי זה, היינו. ועל ידי זה, היינו, על ידי אכילה בקדושה, שעל ידי זה נעשה המתקה, על ידי זה נעשה הפה בבחינת קומת אדם. What happens is, by eating purely, we just gave you a pe b'chinat komat adam. Your mouth, we just made it into the Komat Adam. A Koma is a building, a structure. I'll explain. Mish Sam Pen Adam. The pasuk says, who gives a mouth to a person? Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't speak. Moshe Rabbeinu was scared. How am I going to go to Paro? Hashem told him, who gives a mouth to a person? Hashem gives a mouth. Hainu. Shoseu Mesima Pe Divchinat Komat Adam. I give you the Pe to Komat Adam. We're going to get there. Keep patient. Ki mi she'en achiloto b'kedusha, chas v'shalom, azai piv hu b'chinat bar chai mamash. If you're not eating in a holy way, your mouth is not called a human mouth. It's called an animal mouth. The same way we saw in Torah Zayin Tinyana, that if the person does not have dat, knowledge of Hashem, then his body is an animal body. Your body is no different than a gorilla or a monkey or a cow or a horse or whatever it is. However, because you have that, so now you use your body to be a good Jew, a tzaddik. You have a body of a person. If a person doesn't have that, he has an animal body. If a person is eating holy, he has a person's mouth. If a person is eating in unholiness, he has an animal mouth. Chas v'shalom. Azai pivu b'chinat bar chai mamash, aval keshocher b'kedusha, azai mesim et hapeh le'adam, shenaseh me'hapeh b'chinat komat adam. We're giving your peh komat adam. I'll just tell you something. It's written in Kitvari that there's what's called Adam Kadmon. In the highest olamot, the highest olam after the tzimtzum is called Adam Kadmon, the primordial man. And why are you called Adam? Because you are in the likeness of Adam Kadmon. The world of Adam Kadmon has a rosh, has a guf, has arms, has legs, and they're not real. It's all light. It's all energy. But it's in the gilui of the light is bigger from the rosh and lower from lower places. And these are the sfirot as well. The sfirot are broken up in this world. So the sfirat keter, chokhmah bin adat, chesed gvura, tiferet, netzachot, yisod, malchut. So all this is the sfirot, and it's komat adam, adam kadmon, the real primordial man. So now we create you in this likeness, where you have chokhmah bin adat, you have chesed, you have gvura, and we give you a body that mimics the first world, which is adam kadmon. So when we give you a mouth, we're giving you a mouth to tap into the mouth in the likeness of the sfirot. B'tselem Elokim nasat Adam, pshat is that Hashem has no likeness. So how do we create the man in the likeness of God? The Torah says we create you in the likeness of the first tzimtzum of the sfirot, where Hashem creates a world that you can have not being overwhelmed by, and you are created in that likeness for you to understand from your body something not overwhelming, to understand something which is much greater than you. It's all metaphors. Your body is a metaphor to on the way that Hashem created the world. By understanding yourself, which is natural and not overwhelming, so you can use this to meditate on higher things, which are called the sfirot. So when you eat holy, we give you a peh in komat adam. Ki ikar hayira hiban adam b'shat achila. Because when you really get the yirat shamayim that I told you about before, is b'chinat le'et ha'ochel goshi halom. And halom en ha'malchut. כאשר דיברנו מזה מכל אחר, עוד זין, תורה זין עוד יוד. So what we just said in עוד זין, in Torah זין עוד יוד, is really connected to here. Rabbeinu brings it. We've already spoken about this. Refer to over there. So really to understand over there, you got to understand over here. And here, what does it say? le'et ha'ochel. In the time of eating, goshi alom. Literally, come close. When I'm eating, Boaz says to Ruth, come close. But halom is malchut. From Ruth comes out David HaMelech, which is Malchut, and Alom is the language of Malchut. And Alom is Malchut. So what do we see? In the time of eating, you have Malchut. Meaning, the fact that when you're eating food is from the Sfirat HaMalchut. Shu B'chinat Yira. And Malchut is Yirat Shamayim, like I told you. K'mo Shamru. In Maleh Mora'a Shel Malchut. If it wouldn't be from the fear of the Malchut. So basically, when you're eating, you're tapping into what's called Sfirat Malchut. The interaction that Hashem is having in you from that time is from the Sfirat Malchut. And the Malchut gives Yira. So when you're eating, that's when you tap into Yira. When we said that the tzaddik is giving you to feel close, he's giving you to feel far, he's doing both to you, sometimes like this, sometimes like that, which is giving you Yira, that's really happening at the time of eating. And like we said, when you eat quiet, when you eat slow, when you meditate on God when you're eating, when you eat with all the arachot, when you're eating with the proper bracha, when you eat in all the way that a Jew should be eating like a tzaddik, like we said many times, whoever saw the Rav Zatzal eat, it was like a prince, a king. It's like an angel eating. When you eat like that, you're zoche to get yira. Nimsa shebishat achila azai ba yira le'adam. When you are eating, that's when you get the yira. ועל כן, כשאוכל בקדושה וממשיך לעצמו היראה, בא לו בשעת האכילה, דהיינו, שאוכל עם יראת שמיים בקדושה. So when you're eating, you can actually get yirat shamayim. And that means that if you just eat properly, you do your job, don't be a shlomo mazel, be a person that, tighten the belt, you're going to war, shat achila, shat milchama. When you're eating, lechem is from Lashon milchama. When you're eating, it's a war. It's a war against your body, your animal. So make sure the soul is eating for the proper purpose and not for the animal eating for the body. When you do that, ubetara karaui, azai umachnis bo bet b'chinat malchut sheb'chinat yira letoch hape, v'azai naseh b'chinat pe מהפה בחינת קומת אדם, בחינת מי שם פה לאדם. So when you're eating holy, you're actually bringing malchut, which is here in the mouth, and it's known that in the whole body, what is the sfirat malchut? It's the peh. You read in Patach Eliyahu. And what does that mean? That the leader, from here we can understand it as well. That from your mouth you can understand sfirat malchut. Malchut is leadership, kingship, memshala, authority. So the authority comes from the mouth. The leader is through his speech that he leads, not through anything else. Not through a muscle, not through a punch, not through his arms. How much can you lead with that? You can get one kid, you can hold a kid maybe, but you can lead a nation, a country, it's the mouth. It's all the peh. What he says we do. Malchut peh. So malchut is yira, yira is malchut, and when the eating, that's when the time you're tapping into malchut, so you get the yira at the time of eating. כשאין אוכל בקדושה יראת שמיים, אזי הירירה בנו בשעת אכילה, היא עומדת מרחוק ואינו נכנסת בו. אבל כשאוכל בקדושה ויראה, דהיינו שממשיך לעצמו יראה הקדושה, אז נכנס בחינת היראה. If you are eating בקדושה, you're bringing the יראה inside of you, and your mouth, your peh becomes malchut and יראה. If not, the יראה stays on the side. What happens? ובשרר זה, שאוכל בקדושה ויראת שמיים, ועושה מהפה קומת אדם, על ידי זה זוכה לעלייה יותר גדולה, שנתעלה בחינת קומת אדם. Now you eat properly, so you have a big aliyah. You became קומת אדם. You start to go into the higher levels, and you start to be a person, not a regular mundane person, a holy, lofty person. ונעשה בחינת אדם עליון, בחינת על כיסא דמות כמראה אדם עלה מלמעלה. שזה בחינת אדם עליון, בחינת שכינה מדברת בתוך גרונו. There's what's called אדם היושב על כיסא. ועל כיסא דמות כמראה אדם. יחזקאל, we saw the מעשה המרכבה, he saw the מרכבה, and he saw an Adam on top of it. Rabbi speaks about it in Torah Vav also. And this is a lofty, high person, which you became a person that's not a regular person down here. You're tapped into the Adam, that's יושב על כיסא, על דמות אדם כמראה אדם, and then, what does it say? שכינה מדברת בתוך גרונו. It's actually בחינת רוח הקודש. That the Shekhinah is speaking through your mouth. Now you're tapped into the Shekhinah to a higher level. So the tzaddik, when he has a Ruach HaKodesh, you should know that first thing to get there is Achilah B'Kedusha. People who fast and people who eat holy, that their diburim starts to be tapping into a higher tzino. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach. Hashem opens up the lips. B'pitichat piv u'b'chinat Adonai. B'chinat Shekhinah medaperet b'toch gnono. The Shekhinah is called, is we associate to Ammonai. It's in this world. So you can actually have this concept in the mouth of, you have a peh of Komat Adam, that you're not a regular person in the dibur. The whole tzaddik is in his dibur. It all starts with the mouth, with the eating. Hainu, she'oseh me'apeh b'chinat Komat Adam. זהו בגדר מדבר. כי גדר אדם הוא הדיבור. אבל אחר כך שזוכה שנתעלה הפה בחינת אדם עליון, בחינת שכינה מדבר בתוך גרונו, בחינת אדוני שפתי תפתח. So there are two levels. There's levels, number one, that you're a person, you have a regular man, your dibur is regular, you are already not an animal, and you see that the way a person speaks, he's a person, which is very, very high to be a person. And then there's a higher level where you get to the Adam Elyon, where now you have the Shekhinah Medaber Mitoch HaPeh. So far, so good. We have not gotten yet to where we want to get to. And now we've already done our allotted 20 minutes. But basically, what did we say? That Rabbeinu is now going to use everything we just said. If you listen tomorrow, which you must, Rabbeinu is going to explain how through this you take away the problems you're supposed to have in the day. Because I'll give you a glimpse, is that every dot comes with a certain tsar. You can put the tsar in Yirat Shamayim. It's a little bit of a tsar to have yirah. To be frum, to be Yirat Shamayim, to be scared of Hashem, to be not, that's a little, it's a tsar b'kedusha. So if you have it b'kedusha, so then you don't need to have it b'sitrachra. And this all happens in the time of eating. And the more you have an aliyah of dat, the more tsar you get. So the more you have Yirat Shamayim, the more you're getting dat, and everything is fine. You have Yirat Shamayim dat. But if you're getting sechel and dat and download without the yira, so it has to go into tsarot of tsar. So we'll see tomorrow how Rabbeinu connects everything.